get a lot out of this presentation. I'm a very skeptical person, and when I first heard about this MBTI and what it entailed, I thought, okay, really? You guys are really going to tell me about myself? You're going to tell me something I don't already know? It was life-changing. So I really hope that you guys put everything into this, because our personalities really help us discover who we are, how we work with other people, and even gives us insights into if our major and or career endeavors is kind of aligned with who we are. So we have some fun stuff to do with you all, lots of activities. So I just want to start us off with some ground rules. This is a safe space. I want you all to volunteer to participate. However, I might call on you. I probably will call on you, but you guys are always great. You guys are always interacting with me anyway, so I think it'll be all right. There's no right or wrong answer, and we want you to have fun.
Yeah, definitely make sure that you all have fun and understand that just because we're going to talk about your personality doesn't mean that that explains everything about you, right? This is just one tool for you all to get to know who you are and how your personality relates to your career.
Purpose of MBTI.
Kind of that similar, right? But the purpose of the MBTI, again, is just to really get to know different things about you, and we'll talk about those different things a little bit more. But basically, you just learn that people aren't wrong, they're just different, right? So I know that there's some things that I do, and then I see other people do the opposite, and I'm like, oh, right? That doesn't mean it's wrong, it's just different, right? Everyone gets their energy in different places, which is that next piece. So these next 4 things are kind of all of the things that we're going to touch today about your personality. So you can learn how to manage your energy, right? So some people, they get energy from reflection and hanging out. Others get energy, like me, by interacting with people and talking about ideas and feelings, all that good stuff, right? Hence career counselor. Then also recognizing how you take in information, right? So you're going to understand how you process best and how you can learn. And then next, you can discover how you make decisions, right? You may be like, what, right? But there is a rhyme or reason to the way we make decisions and an intrinsic kind of moral value and a reason why we make certain decisions the way we do. And then lastly, how you can better manage and organize your time, right? So figuring out your time management style and how you approach the outside world is the important way for you to understanding kind of holistically who you are as a person.
Activity. So I want you all to turn over that sheet of paper. Does everyone have one? Oh, people in the back don't have one? Are we all out? Yeah. All right, so I need you to take out a piece of paper.
Oh, we have extra one there?
Extra?
Anybody have extras on their row? An extra one there? Thank you. Can you pass that extra one?
Oh, thank you. Is everyone signed in? All right, now if you don't have a packet, take out a piece of paper. It'll work just fine. So I want you all you guys can hear me, clap one time. You guys can hear me, clap 2 times. Awesome. So I want you all to write your name with your dominant hand. Sorry?
He had asked for a package and
Okay, for a career center pen, never been used. Who wants to share with us and describe how that was? Natural. Any more observations? Yes.
Like we've been doing it since we were in kindergarten.
Easy, like we've been doing it since we were in kindergarten. Because I'm sure you have been writing your name since you were in kindergarten, right?
I was not in the back.
I didn't even know there was a
It's not fresh anymore, I'm sorry.
Oh, I feel so bad.
One more person? It felt great, amazing. I like it. Awesome. I see you, know that this is yours. Okay? So I want us all to write your name using your opposite hand. All right, everyone.
All right, y'all. Now, you know what I'm gonna ask? You in the red right there.
This man's a
Painfully
good.
awkward. Painfully awkward. I like that. Again, I got a pen point for you. Let's go way in the back. Yes.
Felt like a child.
Like you're learning, right? Okay, one more up there.
Unique.
Unique. Okay.
Awesome, awesome. Angie, so graceful. I was actually going to start throwing these pins at you guys. But essentially, everyone, we're going to watch a little cute video that's going to go over your personality types. And there are going to be some instances where you are torn between the two. How many of us have heard people say, oh my gosh, I'm so extroverted? Or no, don't talk to me, I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So this is essentially what this is based off of. So you'll notice, when it comes to being extroverted or introverted, it can vary based off of the situation. However, I want you all to think about what is the most natural. The reason why we had you all do this exercise is because I wanted you to see how, when asked to write your name, you didn't even have to think about it. You were automatically drawn to utilize your dominant hand. Even though you can still write your name with your other hand,
Questionably.
I don't know if we can read it, but you can still do it. You just don't do it not as well as you would have with your dominant hand. So when you're going through some of these videos, and when you're looking at these different personality types, I want you to choose what is most natural. And if you're torn, Angie and I are here to kind of help tease that out with you as well. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome.
Okay.
Literally cute video.
So it's cute yet cheesy. So please laugh. Okay. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pause it. So it's gonna talk about 4 dichotomies. And so what that means is it's opposite differences. So there's 4 different ones. After each dichotomy, we're gonna pause. All right. So I want you all to use your sheets. And on the next page. But as we go along, I want you to think about the preference that you identify with. And then we're going to have you kind of identify it on the paper which one as we go along. All right?
There are 4 MBTI preference pairs: extroversion or introversion, opposite ways to direct and receive energy; sensing or intuition, opposite ways to take in information; thinking or feeling, opposite ways to decide and come to conclusions; and judging or perceiving, opposite ways to approach the outside world. No preference is more valuable than the other. In fact, everyone uses all of them. But the ones that come most naturally and make you feel most competent and energetic are the ones that you prefer. So let's start with extroversion and introversion, opposite ways to direct and receive energy. This man has a preference for extroversion. People who prefer extroversion direct their energy outward and are energized by interacting with others and taking action. He's excited about meeting people as much as seeing the art. This woman has a preference for introversion. People who prefer introversion direct their energy inward and are energized by reflecting on their experiences and ideas. But she enjoys art and is looking forward to seeing a few friends this evening. She spots the friend she agreed to meet there and heads over to say hi. A common misconception is that I's are not as outgoing or as socially adept as E's, but that's not true. I's prefer conversation with a few close friends. She'll spend the rest of the evening with her friends talking about a few topics that really interest them, whereas he tends to have broad interests and will discuss them with anyone who is interested. Some people think E's have to be the center of attention, but that's not true. When people who prefer introversion are ready to go, they'll say goodbye to their friends and head out. On the other hand, ready to head off to the after party, our extrovert says goodbye to everyone before leaving. The gallery opening was fun, but it's good to be home. Having some time to journal helps I recharge. I's are energized by having quiet time to reflect on their experiences and ideas, and prefer to communicate in writing. E also had fun at the gallery opening. Meeting and talking with so many people was really energizing. E's are energized by interacting with people and by talking about experiences and ideas. As you can see, these are opposite but equally valuable ways to direct and receive energy.
All right, everyone, how was that? I want you all to take a moment and decide whether you are extroverted or introverted. All right, have we all decided? Is there anyone in the middle? A couple people? Okay. We're going to have some activities later to help you tease that out.
Next, let's look at sensing and intuition, opposite ways to take in information. In this example, we see S and N returning from their recent trip to Europe. Even though the couple traveled together, what they paid attention to and recall is very different. How was your trip? She has a preference for sensing. People who prefer sensing tend to process things in a step-by-step linear sequence. They observe and remember specific information, like this, or this. S also tends to focus on what is factual and concrete. They take in information using all 5 senses. He has a preference for intuition, which means he pays attention to themes and remembers the big picture, like how romantic the whole trip was. Instead of facts, he focuses on the meaning of his experiences and making connections, like how the Colloquium reminds him of a gladiator movie he watched as a kid, which makes him think of going camping. We should go camping sometime. N's tend to be imaginative and trust their inspiration and enjoy seeing future possibilities. For example, this meal was delicious, and N wonders, what would it be like if I hosted my own cooking show? I wonder how much one of those professional cameras might cost. I should take more pictures. Even though these are opposite ways to take in information, both are equally valuable and useful.
All right. You all know what to do. Is there anyone in the middle? It's okay. Do your best. And as Crystal mentioned, we're going to do some activities to kind of help you flush that out afterwards. All right? Ready?
Let's move on to thinking and feeling, opposite ways to make decisions. Looks like it's time for a new car. She has a preference for thinking. She's making a pros and cons list for the car she's considering. Because people who prefer thinking make decisions by weighing logical consequences from an objective point of view. He has a preference for feeling. People with a feeling preference make decisions based on their values. In his case, if a car is eco-friendly and how it affects others involved. T arrives at the dealership ready to compare the information on the car sticker to her research, looking for any inconsistencies or details she's missed in her analysis. F perks up when he hears that the salesperson loves driving the electric car he is considering. People who prefer feeling want to find the best option that fits with their values. Meanwhile, T challenges the salesperson on some discrepancies she's found in driving range and price. People who prefer thinking like to analyze and debate as part of their decision-making process. T makes up her mind and is ready to buy. But F is still considering their lifestyle needs and realizes they need a kayak rack. Is it possible to add one to the top of the car? Sold. So as you can see, this preference pair isn't about being rational or having emotions. It's about the opposite ways to make decisions and come to conclusions. Both are equally valuable.
All right, everyone. Take a minute, let it soak in. And also, there are levels to this. You might be a slight feeler, or a slight thinker, or you might be a very clear feeler or a very clear thinker. So in each of these dichotomies, there are levels to it.
Ready?
Yeah? Okay.
And finally, judging and perceiving, opposite ways to approach the outside world. In this example, both J and P are hosting parties tonight at 7. Let's see how each might organize their time today. She has a preference for judging, which means she likes to make a plan and get it done. He has a preference for perceiving. His planning is more flexible because he likes to keep his options open. He's also tend to live in a spontaneous way, while J's prefer sticking to a plan and schedule. People who prefer judging enjoy getting things done and try to avoid last-minute stress. People who prefer perceiving get things done too. However, they're often energized by that last-minute rush. Even though these are opposite ways to approach the outside world, both are equally valuable. Remember, no preference is more valuable than the other. In fact, everyone uses all 8 of them. But the ones that come most naturally and make you feel most competent and energetic are the ones that you prefer.
All right. So take a moment to reflect on that last dichotomy. Kind of make a decision on your paper.
And you'll notice you have essentially selected 4 letters. So you're going to write in at the very bottom what your 4-letter type is.
Or there's the first kind of row of boxes here.
And then as we go through our exercises, we'll see if that's the same letters you decide on. Yes. I'm sorry, dear?
You just pick one if I'm not sure.
No, if you're not sure, leave it. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yes.
But I love it. You guys be quiet.
Sorry?
We gotta figure it out.
Okay, all right.
All right, so our first dichotomy you learned about, right? The EI dichotomy, how we direct and receive energy. Here's, again, just a little short snippet, just in case you forgot, because that was like 10 minutes ago, right? So again, extroverts, they tend to feel deprived when cut off from outside interaction, prefer to communicate by talking, and work ideas out by talking them through. All right?
Yeah, sure. So essentially, extroverted people, and I'll identify, I'm a clear extrovert. And I do not really need anyone's feedback if I'm trying to process something. Sometimes I just come to Annie's office, hey girl, da-da-da-da-da, she's looking at me, just nodding her head, I'm like, got it, okay? Whereas some of my other colleagues are a little bit introverted. So they might prefer I communicate or process things through writing. So they would prefer that I either communicate either via email or text messages. Extroverted people get energy from being amongst others. Introverted people get energy from winding down and being alone and reflecting and journaling. It doesn't mean that extroverted people don't wind down alone and reflect and journal. It just doesn't give them energy. It's how we essentially rest. And it also doesn't mean that introverted people don't like to be around people. They do. It's just a small set of individuals that they enjoy.
And so as Crystal mentioned, like she's a clear extrovert, I am as well. So her and I are always with each other talking about what's happening, how to work things out. And then we have other coworkers that are introverted and they need to be in their office in the morning getting things done, right? Listening on their headphones to podcasts, because that's how they work, right? And both are good, right? We both get our jobs done, we both do our work. It's just different. And we've had to learn how to respect each other and give each other space to do what we need to do, right? So we're not going to go into our other coworker's office and be like, ah, right? That's going to overwhelm them. we realize we have to give them space, and they know that sometimes they have to give us the space to talk it out.
Absolutely. And y'all, even though I love to be around everybody, I have to lock myself in my office to work. I get stuff done, but then I get lonely. So I know, right? And be friends. So just take a minute, think about that. And again, this can change because it is situational, but for the most part, there is one preference that we have. So we have an activity for you. So we are going to divide up our introverts and our extroverts. And we have some questions we want you all to ask of one another. I understand that you guys are a cohort and you're going to be with each other until you graduate. So we're just going to be one big family. And we want you all, again, to know how to work with one another, work with one another and understand one another. So all of my introverts, raise your hand. Introvert. So we might have to divide the divide, okay? So introverts, I want you to come to my left, stand up. Left.
And then vice versa, extroverts, all right.
Wow. Hi. Welcome to the honors program.
Extroverted Millie Rock. Yeah, no.
Extroverted Millie Rock. Love that.
What is it? I'm down. Yeah, extroverted Millie Rock.
Paul.
Woo!
This is extrovert.
Hey,
All
what's
five
up?
of us.
Oh, wow.
I got it.
Ricky!
Oh my God. This is what you call
Robert,
yeah.
help.
Sydney. I'm trying.
I see.
Here, I'll just put it on.
Woo!
Hey, Jojo. Hey, what's up?
Hey! I knew you'd be an extrovert.
Yeah.
He's all, I get
Even with that, I'd rather still be someone else sitting in there.
Cheat.
What a heckin' cheat.
Taking applications.
I'm going to divide the introverts into groups of them. So I have a group of introverts in the back here, right here. So I need y'all to come in the middle and try to cluster. And then try to cluster. You guys are going to discuss.
Dang. So Hey, Christian.
Now we got John Paul.
Tom Paul.
My name's Juanita Palito.
It is not.
Juan Pollo.
One pollo.
Juan Pollo Loco.
One chicken.
One chicken.
One
Do
chicken.
you ever need catering for the honors event?
One family.
Expect chicken.
It's gonna look great on a video.
By the way, John Paul, I hope you know you're singing like into the camera.
Like and subscribe. Everybody who tests to take Colloquium online. That's gonna be the highlight.
Y'all divide into two.
Y'all split yourself. My toast sister.
You all into a little smaller groups because you all are going to share with each other. Sharing and
Oh, it's so cool. Ah! Oh my god.
Wait, remember that conversation I was talking about?
Oh, Twilight.
It's got all the good stuff.
Frick, yeah.
Well, indeed.
Zelda. That was Eve from
Please be quiet.
Really?
Wait, do you remember the conversation I was talking about?
Mixing something you want to.
Please. Thank you. All right. So in your small group, small-ish,
The one where
right?
it's like, hey,
We want you to talk about what you would like to know about the other side. So extroverts, I want you to talk about what you would like to know about introverts, and introverts, I want you to talk about what you'd like to know about extroverts. I want you to think of one question per group.
all right,
So come to a consensus in your group.
y'all. All right, what's our
How do we not make you feel awkward in a social context? Like, how do we make introverts feel?
How can we make you feel the most awkward in a social context?
Yeah, how can we make you feel comfortable by going up to you and introducing you?
How can we make you
Someone was
feel
like, hey, how you doing? I feel like I come off too strong.
Are we answering these questions together?
I think we're just getting the question coming up with one.
So I think another question is the difference between being shy and introverted, and I'd rather not be shy. If you see someone who's shy, if you should actually try to approach to make them have show or not. There's like a difference between that and someone that's really.
You know what? This is not what we're going to do. I'm just going to stand here. Okay. Madison, I know.
All right, do you all have a question?
Have you ever done the 16 challenge?
I know I'm short, but up here. I got a little height on me today. Alright. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna share our questions to the big group. However, the other side, I only want one person to respond. I know it's gonna be hard, but for the sake of time, only have one response from the other side. Alright? So, my introverted group in the back. So raise your hand for the question. Alright, go for it. Ask the group.
My question would be that how are you so how is the extrovert so comfortable and is able to overcome the overwhelming fear of doing something embarrassing?
So the question is for extroverts, how you overcome the overwhelming fear of embarrassing yourself when you're talking to a bunch of people. All right. Thank you for raising your hand. Awesome. You have the black hand.
Confidence is key. That's it.
Confidence is key.
That's a terrible answer.
All right. I know there's more. I know y'all want to say more, but you can share later.
Oh.
I know. I'm sorry.
I'll just share with you guys. I live in a constant state of awkwardness, so what is, embarrassing?
Like,
Who cares?
obviously, we
That's
have
way
people
more
who don't
fun.
care about being embarrassed at
Experience.
Oh.
So like experience with like getting accumulated for the first time and then afterwards you slowly get used to it.
Like practice makes perfect.
All right, y'all, quick, go.
I think you guys just have to realize, like, we're all human beings, and especially because, like, we're all the same age, we're doing the same things, like, even if somebody's different than you, like, we're all human beings, like, what is there to be, like, I do something embarrassing, but so do all of us, like, there's not one person in here that doesn't do something embarrassing.
Yeah, we all do something
Yeah.
embarrassing. We all laugh. We all move on. That's better answer.
One more. Last one. Back here, she's been dying over here in the striped shirt. Back here.
I'm wearing the striped shirt.
Yeah.
Well, I just live in a constant state of awkwardness, as my family has always told me. So, like, be you. Who cares? I mean, there's this like Dr. Seuss quote that says,
See, I'm doing the awkward, embarrassing thing again because I just forgot the quote I was gonna quote. So like,
Good
just
example.
accept who you are and like embrace it because there's only one you in this world.
Yeah.
Okay, over here, our middle introverted group. What's your question?
No, everybody's like,
Go ahead.
Over here, a wall of
From our viewpoint, I guess the question is like, are introverts more likely to get things done? Because the video kind of made it sound like a positive
Probably.
version of a procrastinator.
All right. See you in it.
Okay, posted on those.
I'll let you know right now, like, I'm awake till 2, 3 in the morning socializing because I can't control myself. And so it's not necessarily that I'm more productive, it's just that I waste time in different ways.
All right, this one is in the back. That's it, though.
Kind of bouncing off of what he said, I think for an extrovert, being social is a productive thing. You know what I mean?
Ow!
But then also, I think extroverts do get stuff done. It just may take us longer because we're chit chatting and like all that along the
Ideas.
way. You know what I mean?
Brainstorm.
In the back.
Yeah.
That's it. I know, I'm sorry. We just have to move on.
Extroverts can do that. Okay, let me just stand up straight for you.
But when it comes to like doing stuff by myself, it's
That too.
So you get things done in a group.
So
Right? Okay. Did that answer your question? Okay. All right. So our last introverted group. What's your question? Okay. Go ahead.
What is the purpose of small talk? When two people are talking about what do you mean by talking?
You gotta start somewhere.
I'm dying.
Okay. Ready? Go ahead. Sorry, Kurt.
You.
Small talk leads to the important conversations. You'll never really make an intimate conversation without starting it with small talk. You can't just be like, hey, tell me your entire life, even though you don't even know my name. You know, you have to start them up, and then you get intimate connections, and that's when you get lifelong friends.
Crazy weather we're having this.
Okay.
I don't really have small talk, like, so I may make you uncomfortable because I get to the real stuff like right away. Because to me, like, I want to get to know the real you, not just like the shield that you put up for everybody. Because the honors program is a family, so like, y'all, we need to be like family.
So last one. Ow! Yes, you.
Okay, so I'm not sure how many of you already know there's something called kink hours in the lounge.
What?
Well,
Every day after 5.
I'm like,
Or all day on Fridays, or the entirety of finals week. It's exactly what you think it is.
Let's hear about.
Well, I got my own brand that's not
No. That's
bad.
the wrong
It's
first
called
letter.
Real John Hours, so anyone who knows me, no, it goes exactly back to that. It's
Exactly what you think it is.
small talk is used just as a stepping stone to get to the really intimate, deep stuff that offers the challenges and cultivation internally.
Nice. All right. Thanks, y'all. Okay. So my extroverted group in the back. What is your question for the introverted group?
I mean, yeah, it's an established thing. It's been going on for a while.
day in school, how do you find where your classes are?
really? A map?
Oh, Matt.
Who's your right here? Yeah, go ahead. Let's listen up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So me, like, you have prepped this beforehand. You don't go to school not prepared. You look at the map or you look at the stuff on the board.
Hey! Is this glass?
I still see this USB.
Wait, a library.
I guess introverts, I would feel like you wouldn't even ask people, or where do I go? Or you try to make it look like you're not lost, like you're always going somewhere. Just time to find your class.
have an idea.
Yep.
So I think my question would be, how can we as extroverts best introduce ourselves to you without making you feel uncomfortable?
Easiest way to not make introverts uncomfortable around you is to not be obnoxious or.
Good thing I'm a ray of sunshine.
Go ahead.
If you don't act rude or in any way, you just come off as nice. Obviously, typically with any other human being, you'll be nice people like other nice people.
So everyone, so we can keep this low and peaceful. We just want to make sure we stay away from generalizations, right? Because I know some introverted people who are one way, and I know some extroverted people who are one way. So we want to make sure when we're posing our questions, we're being constructive, we're being productive, and we're being kind with one another. So essentially, I'm sorry, your name? What Michelle is saying is, she feels as though when you are just doing your thing and speaking and being verbose, it's coming across another way. So essentially, Michelle, do you have any advice, any constructive things that they could do?
Not exist.
Okay.
I guess my advice, I'm a horrible person to give advice, but I guess it's simple to be just kind and nice, and I know this is the honest program, so I know a lot of you all are genuine people and you do the best for others. So I'm pretty sure this is what me. Don't be invasive or intrusive with others. So if you want to carry on a great conversation, I think the best way to just
Knowing boundaries is essentially what you're saying. Gotcha. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. In the red?
Don't do it in groups.
Like, if you're gonna go up and introduce yourself, don't go with
Everybody
your best friend.
So one-on-one.
Yes.
Oh. Whoops.
One more?
Trying to get this whole pack of people.
Right here in the back, drafted, brown, yeah. You're on.
Sometimes you guys get really hyped up about meeting a new person.
Woo!
You might wanna like chill out a bit.
I guess, man. Why are we so
I think you're
scary?
more low key, right?
Hey.
Okay, we're gonna move on. Alright? So, as you all know, for the sake of time, so sensing and intuition, right? Do we need some more further definitions, or do you all feel like you kind of know? Okay.
More definition.
More definitions.
Okay. Do we want to continue standing or do we want to?
Sit.
You can sell more.
Okay, so we're going to stand. So essentially, sensing individuals are very practical.
Correct.
They live in the here and now, and they trust experience. So I am a clear sensor. The more information, the better. It's not very typical that I get overwhelmed. However, and I love my intuitive counterparts, intuitive people are very big picture, they're very imaginative. They can kind of already know where I'm going with things. They're like, I got it. The only thing with being intuitive is essentially there are small details that you end up missing. Whereas sometimes sensing people can be overwhelming. So you'll notice that these personality characteristics are all kind of coming into one another. So if you are an extroverted sensor, not only do you like to talk and you like to give out a whole lot of information. So I just want you all to be aware of how they pair with one another. If you are an introverted intuitive, not only do you not want a lot of information, you want to just kind of keep things simple and concise.
What if you're
Intuitive people trust their inspiration, and they're very imaginative, and again, they can really catch things before others do. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to go on to another activity. So this one is going to be a picture. So not this one, sorry. The next one. There's going to be a picture. I want you all to look at it and kind of take it in. And then I'm going to have you look at it for 30 seconds. And then I'm going to move on, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay? So ready?
What you say?
Old people.
No talking yet. Just soak it in, please.
Whoa.
All right. So, for the sake of time, I know it's hard, I know. Right? So, I want one person who thinks that they prefer sensing to raise their hand and tell me what they say. What they saw, I should say. In the back of the green cap.
First I saw an older couple together, and then later, like, the more I looked at it, the more it changed.
Okay. One person who prefers intuition. What did you see?
Over here.
Yes, indeed.
I saw an older couple in the beginning too, but then later on I kind of found a story to tell after later on. I saw that the younger couple who were performing the face were kind of like lovers in the beginning, and then they're like showing how their will kind of worked as they grow older.
All right. Those are really good examples from each side. So does everyone see the differences? Right? The sensors see the facts, see what's there. And our intuitive people, they tend to see the patterns behind the scenes, what's going on. Good.
All right, so we can have everyone have a seat so we can wrap up.
Perfect. I didn't want to steal anybody's. I can't. Look at
All right, y'all. If you can sit down quietly, because we're literally out of time, so we're going to wrap this up shortly. Quickly.
All right. Thinking versus feeling. This one is one of my personal favorites to go over because I am a clear feeler. I'm always thinking of how my actions are going to affect others. So if I am purchasing something, such as a car or a home, I'm thinking about my family. Whereas thinking individuals are a little bit more analytical and love to tell the story. An old colleague of mine who I no longer work with, this person isn't here anymore, when this person was looking to marry their partner, they pulled out a pros and cons list. Right?
Oh my God.
And it's not valuable, right? And it's not that feelers don't have a pros and cons list, right? But there's that love, that intentionality that we put first. Both are equally needed, okay? And the reason why I love to talk about this in particular is, especially to my feelers, a lot of the times we make decisions based off of what we think other people want us to do. We decide on majors, we decide on careers, we're always thinking of how our actions are going to affect others. So this is when I need you to find your thinking friends to kind of help you tease out, hey, is this major really for me? Do I really want to be a doctor? Am I really trying to be a nurse? Or am I doing it to make my mom and dad happy? Okay? I just want y'all to think. Any questions about this one?
All right, last but not least, we have judges and perceivers. So this is how we organize our time and manage the outside world. So judges, they tend to make a plan, they stick to it, they have to-do lists, tasks, calendars, all of those. And sometimes when those plans change and things go astray, we get a little nervous. So I'm a clear judger. Those who are perceiving, they're more flexible and adaptable. They like to keep things open. They're wanting to, oh, later I'll do this eventually, right? Whereas us J's, they're like, I need to stick to this, okay? So again, think about this, how it plays out in your life. And I really encourage you to identify or talk with someone who identifies as a perceiver and just talk about how they organize their time, right? And really learn about them. Because you never know, we can learn a lot of different things from other people, right? All right. Any questions about this one? All right. So, your 4-letter type has a little description above. Just identify yours. There's some information in your little packet. I encourage you to do some research on your own and kind of research these little descriptions about yourself and kind of see where you fit in and where you don't. And then if you're interested in talking about career and how this relates, definitely let us know and we can talk about that maybe at an appointment. Question.
Why don't I exist?
What do you mean you don't exist?
Yeah, like EIFP.
EIFP.
That second letter should either be an S or an N.
Oh, what it starts with.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? So as Angie mentioned, our personality will sometimes correlate to the careers and majors we get into. So if you are introverted and you love being locked in a room, working on computers, maybe being a career counselor is not the most appropriate career for you. And it's not to say that being an introverted person, that you can't do that. It's just when you are going against what you are naturally inclined to do, it's going to be double the work. Does that make sense? Again, I just want you all to be aware of your preferences and how everything kind of connects with one another. Angie and I thank you so much for your time. I'm going to be sending up a follow-up email if you want to discuss this further, along with other personality assessments. Thank you.
Before you go, did everyone sign in? Is there another sign-in sheet floating around?
Good job. Thank you for your help today. Yeah, no problem.